I was going to read out some sections of this text by Head Gallery, and I thought first of all I'd like to mention some a report I read in the newspaper recently about an athlete in Canada, and this athlete was a runner, and she was like an international runner, and she used to train by running. She used to run in a forest near her house, a quite remote sort of forest, and this is a true story. And she used to run there, and then she got killed by a cougar. And the interesting thing about this story is that when the authorities researched it, they discovered that the cougar had been tracking her for about 3 weeks. So every time she'd gone out into the wilds to run, this cougar had been seen, tracked what her route was that she took, and then waited and then killed her, because he knew the cougar knew where she was going to run. And then somebody else, I thought this was an interesting story, and then someone else told me another story about somebody who used to have a pet boa constrictor, and they told someone, they said, oh, it's so nice when I lie down in front of the fire at night, like this boa constrictor comes and lies next to me, and this is really sort of sweet. And then the person that they were talking to said, no, this isn't sweet at all, because this is what boa constrictors do, they're measuring you. They're measuring you, yeah? And like, I thought this is interesting, because this is like all about being fitted up or measured, yeah? And we've all experienced that in our life, being sized up, yeah? Anyway, this text, I'm going to read a few sections, and there's quite a nice description. Where's my master? It's quite a nice description of an artwork. It's like a description of an artwork, but since we all understand that an artwork can exist conceptually, yeah, this actually is an artwork. Like Lawrence Wiener, this artwork is constructed inside your heads. So I'm going to just read that artwork. Sorry, let me just find it. Where's the artwork? The one where it sort of goes from to microscopic level.
Oh yeah, I can find it. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there. The second paragraph.
Okay.
The left page.
And then located on the quay. This text is about, you can read it yourselves, but this text is about a artistic journey that that writers and philosophers and art theorists are invited to go on to a remote island where there's a sort of an art project going on involving writers and artists and performers. And then located on the quay was Barnaby Furness's Crown of Thorns 2, widening participation to underrepresented sections of the community, dimensions variable 2015. When seen from a distance, it synthesises the form of an immense crown of thorns, wrought in intricate detail by bioplastics manufacturers to include endless subdivisions down to the micro scale beyond the visible, in inverted commas, existence of the sculpture. Each extension is split into further extensions and subdivisions. The root system, as it incrementally converts inert plastic into fleshy tendons through bacterial intervention, extends across the gallery into ever smaller branches until it appears like a fine gossamer and finally dissolves into a faint mist. Beyond this gaseous state, it subdivides on a micromolecular level, eventually remodeling anatomically into an acoustic alignment to render a muffled cock's crow and the rhythm of crickets. Distantly submerged within the soundscape are the faint trace of medieval chanting and twirling dervishes, captured with a Nacro recording tech, spinning in the medinas of the cities of the Levant. And unpatterned time intervals, the thorn reappears out of the molecular mist as a thorn bush in the corners of the gallery. To the left is Cosima von Boning's work, written by a goat in the blood of a monkey, 2085, expanded latex and vinyl inflatable, which is a screaming animatronic goat trapped in an inflatable bush of pubic hair. Despite some glitches during the production of the inflatable, which unleashed a number of jinn who ravaged some of von Boning's studio assistants, and others died of pulmonary cancer, with a large moth demon fucking them to death, slurping out their intestines like pollen. Everything seems to be working okay now. As the crowd at the gallery thickens and the first inquiries about the work are floating around, a robed and bearded figure materialises out of the gypsum drywall sheets of the left wall of the gallery, which was left unpainted. This figure walks towards the goat. Under the robe, the figure's flesh is lacerated with hundreds of cuts, opening outwards like miniature lips, each seeping blood and releasing a weak cooing and whimpering sound. This figure, parting the bush and slicing his pseudo-flesh arms, slits the goat's neck, a clean slice, so precise it erects the animal's genitals and his own. And then finally, the final scene is kind of like, is a diagram. Describes a diagram, which is a prevalent idea at the moment. The idea of a diagram is very popular in England. In the UK, the idea of diagrams is very popular. It's because it's supposed to bridge the gap between theory and practice. Because a diagram is not just an illustration. A diagram of the structures of power is also a blueprint which can be written into your own flesh. So it's a performative, it's a kind of performative a diagram is. Solves some of the problems in the theory-practice debate, you know? And this is a kind of diagram. And then somehow behind, floating almost like a cave hole fantasy, emerging out of the geometry of the night sky, like a grid in front of another reality, behind a bacchanalian scene, or such it first seems. But as our eye moves it is less polished than this, more oppressive and nightmarish. A medieval pig pen or horse yard full of mud is the setting, with a strange turreted tower in the middle. Dancing round this structure, a sequence of snow-white dwarfs swing strings of pearls around their head, counter-circuitously to the direction of their progression around the tower, each with a twisted snow-white face, moving in a strange trance-like rhythm, a slow step to the beat of an unseen drum, but throwing their feet up at the end of each step. Sort of like that. I saw this in a dream. Moving in a strange trance-like rhythm, a slow step to the beat of an unseen drum, but throwing their feet up at the end of each step. Their faces contorted in the ecstasy of this movement as they move minute to minute, hour to hour, sweat dripping down their faces. Above this, a strange howling seems to rise in the background. And then as they move, we realise they have flower heads, flaps of flesh petals arranged concentrically across their cheeks and down their necks. Sitting on the top of fence posts, positioned at 10 feet intervals, small fairies facing inwards masturbate themselves, flapping their wings and emitting a strange throbbing bass beat, whistling higher as each of the Snow White moves past their post. The Snow Whites continue their slow march, humming and whirling their pearls, and then a crack rings out, and one of the dwarves falls, the side of his head blown away. The other dwarves move on regardless. Above in the tower window we can see the strange white-faced figure move back into the recess, dragging back with them a high-performance sniper rifle, and the dance moves on. Okay, thank you very much.